Hello and welcome to Netnocon24, the preview. I'm Andy Meir and I'm the University of Salford's Chair in Science Communication Future Media. And it's my pleasure to be hosting this webinar preview to get to know the event, learn about what's happening, get a sense of the deadlines, find out about the destination, and ultimately learn more about netnography. And it's a fantastic opportunity to learn about the conference before it's taking place. We've got a good few months before we have to really think about booking travel and things like that. So it's a little bit of a warm up. And to kick things off, we're going to introduce our president, Robin Kozinets, and the founder of Netnography. Welcome, Robin Early. Good to see you in the stream.
So good to be here, Andy. Thanks so much for doing this again this year.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. And hearing all the stories from Netnocon24, it sounded like a fantastic event.
It was really something. I mean, we didn't know what to expect going in, and we were hoping for a good turnout, but it was terrific. And we managed to gather a great group of people, had super high level presentations. I think everything went smoothly thanks to Alex and his crew. And yeah, we couldn't be more delighted with the feedback that we got from 2023. And we're back to do it again in 2024.
It's very exciting. And to remind anyone that's tuning in, we have comments available in the chat. Whether you're joining us from LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, you can put your comments in the chat and we'll bring them into the stream and answer all of your questions. Uli, how about you? Looking forward to May next year?
Oh, so much, actually. I'm working on my papers already, so I'm ready to submit something.
That's fantastic. We're going to learn all about we're going to meet all the people involved. We're also going to hear about all the deadlines, what people need to know to get their act together to come along to the conference. So should we bring everybody in at this, Rob, or do you want to bring a bit of introduction about netnography for those who don't know too much about it?
Sure. I was just going to mention, Andy, that netnography is a way of finding cultural understanding using digital traces, observations, and elicitations. It's kind of a new definition. The definition's always shifting and changing, but it includes immersive technologies. Last year, we had a couple of really interesting presentations using immersive netnography. We're going to be introducing transformative netnography later this month in Hawaii at Hicks. So there are new sort of flavors and varieties. And of course, AI-assisted netnography is something that's on the horizon. And we'll talk maybe a little bit more about that. But applying all of these new technologies to what is still very much an evolving technique, I think is a huge part of this conference. So again, I think it's a real opportunity for us to learn about things before the long pipeline effects of getting things into print happen. So we can see about things that are happening as they're happening.
Yeah, and I wonder, Rob, whether you think from your early days of writing about this, is the pace of change and the modifications to the methodology getting faster, or is it pretty constant?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I think pandemic was a huge bump in interest, and now that we have these technological changes, and I think there's all kinds of virtuous cycles that kick in when other people in other fields are writing about things like algorithms and affordances that really help us in whatever field we're in to develop netnography. And now I think AI is really going to blow the lid off of a lot of this stuff about how we can move beyond sentiment analysis and data mining into a much more deeper thematic analysis that uses computer assistance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder whether you look back on 23 and think, what sort of disciplines were coming to the conference? What sort of spread of subject expertise did you have?
Oh, I mean, it was our minds were a little boggled. We had sociologists and a lot of people from health sciences, actually, from medical fields and nursing. But we also had philosophers doing super interesting work.
Accounting.
Yeah. Many of the different business tourism fields, lots of tourism people, and of course, those stalwarts of marketing and consumer research were very well represented. So it was a great. I think we even had a couple of anthropologists who showed up. So it was amazing. Wonderful. Yeah.
And I think we're getting a few of those people joining already. It's great to see Alex Fenton joining us from Chester, perhaps University of Chester. Great to see his comments coming in. Good to have you joining the stream, Alex. And Matthew, we've got as well. Sahil, we've got Anna. So lots of comments coming in. So please do keep them pouring in. I think we should bring people into the stream. What do you think, Rob?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so let's get in. First of all, Alexi, good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you're listening from and watching from. Good to see you, Alexi.
Hi, guys. Nice to see you too as well.
Fantastic. We've got Ross joining us from Milan. Good to see you, Ross.
Ciao. Good to see you too. Ciao, everyone.
And I presume also from Milan is Angela.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Fantastic. So maybe starting with you, Alexi, just say a little bit about who you are and what's your role in the conference.
Yes, I'm just one of the co-chairs, and this year we are learning from the exciting work that people are working on in Milan, and looking forward to also attending and contributing to the way that we can, and perhaps doing something exciting together in the future.
And it's great to have you here. This is the University of Salford Connection, Alexi. I think remember 10 years ago, we both were wearing Google Glass, which, gosh, feels like
Yes.
a very long time ago now. And Ross, how about you? Over to you.
I'm Ross Gambetti. I was already here last year when we did the other webinar, because I was co-chair also in Netnocon24, and now I'm co-chair of Netnocon24. And we are also, me, Angela, and Silvia, we are the hosts of the conference in Milan, our university, Università Cattolica. We are super Netno enthusiasts, all of us. So we have been doing netnography for many years with Rob, with Uli. And so we are very happy to bring to the fore netnography in our country, and with our marketing scholars, with other professors in Europe. So it's amazing to be organizing this conference this year. We're very happy to see you, and we will welcome you with a lot of exciting things that we will tell you in a few minutes.
Fantastic. And yeah, it's great to see the amount of comments again coming in. Angela, tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing in the conference.
Yes, so good evening, everyone. I'm Angela Beccanulli, along with Ross and Silvia. Also, we will host the conference in our university, which is the Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore. So we will be co-chair together of this amazing conference. We are super, super excited. We have a lot of surprises for you all. So we look forward actually to May.
Fantastic. And I think that obviously Milan isn't a very difficult sell for most people. I think people can drag themselves to Milan quite easily. But just to give a bit more of an overview, we got a few slides here. We've done a few intros already, but give us a bit of a sense of Milan and what it's like. Perhaps Ross, over to you for this one again, just to tell us a bit more about the campus and about the environment and what you're planning.
Yeah, sure. First about the campus. So Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore is which translated would be Catholic University of the Sacred Heart, but we need to say it in Italian. It's the largest Catholic university in Europe, and one of the largest private universities in Europe. We have 12 colleges and 4 campuses, and we have basically 40,000 students enrolled. So it's a big university. Sometimes it's very challenging to work in such big institutions. And we are a very lively kind of environment because we have a lot of international students and international campuses. And so we were very excited when we had the chance, when we talked with Rob and Uli about hosting a Netnocon, because it's such a multidisciplinary and boundary spanning kind of conference, which really represents also what is a vocation for our university, to be open to diversity, to be inclusive, and to be open to host new exciting methodologies and ways of thinking that will be groundbreaking in the future, like netnography. And Università Cattolica lies in the heart of Milan, and Milan is a very vibrant city. It's not because I was born here, but Milan transformed itself a lot during the year, especially after we hosted the Expo in 2015. It became a technological city. Once it used to be a very industrial kind of city, a boring one, financial, and not very exciting. But today it has become really the city of fine dining. Of course, it has always been the city of fashion and design, because we host the 2 most important fashion weeks and design weeks in the world, actually. But it's also a city of fun and entertainment. It's a very international city because we have all the major international universities in the country are all concentrated in Milan. And we invented the happy hour concept, so the aperitivo along the canals, which is a very Milanese kind of a sweet life, dolce vita kind of thing, which is very nice, because Milanese people are usually workaholic. We work a lot, but we want to also have fun. And as Italians, we know how to have fun. So we really have a lot of fun, even if we work a lot. And so we really look forward to having you all in Milan, especially in late spring, which is high season in Milan. So we have so many events and amazing things that are going on. And we will have, we will be embarrassed just to choose what to do in the evenings. Of course, then we need to be focused on the presentations during the day. But it will be much fun to have you all here, and also to take you to have a flavor of what is Italian culture and living an Italian way of life for a few days, and enjoying that, since we are all cultural scholars, that we do ethnographic studies and netnographic studies. Of course, that would be amazing to discover Milan together.
Absolutely. And I think that one of the really incredible things about the conference is the way in which it brings people into it through a whole range of levels of support. So I think, Uli, you want to talk a little bit about the scholarship program that we have for the conference?
Yes, I do, because I think everyone will agree one of the best things about Netnocon24 was all the students who actually were able to participate. I mean, that was so exciting to learn about their work. So we have some scholarships available again. And I just want to highlight some things about them. So the scholarships will cover registration and accommodation. Please note that the deadline is January 15th, so not a lot of time for it. But we want to make sure that the PhD students and master students who apply will hear about the outcome soon after, so that they can make the arrangements. So you will be expected to cover your own travel cost, but we will welcome you to the conference through the registration and the accommodation. Now, conditions: you will have to come to Netnocon. We want you there in person, and we will also ask you to give a short presentation about your research. You will have to submit a few things for the application. So details about that are on the website. If there's any questions about that, I can answer that in the Q&A. There will be a committee where we will look at these applications and then make a decision in terms of who we will fund. So please make sure that you really tell us why you're interested in ethnography and what your financial needs are. So really excited to have hopefully a big contingent of students come again.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. That's incredibly exciting, and such a fantastic way to grow the pipeline of talent within this area. So it's a really big achievement, and I think a great way to show support to our emerging scholars as well. Now, of course, a huge amount of support is required for an event like this, and I know that you want to speak a little bit about the sponsors that are making this possible, Ross, and talk a little bit about just how much they're doing for us.
Yes, definitely. Just to mention a few names of our partners, which we are very proud to have. Kantar again, because Kantar is a major consumer insight research and consumer insight company, and they also do consultancy on strategic branding. And they are a worldwide company which really understands the value of good quality research. They already sponsored us last year, and they confirmed the sponsorship also for this year. So then we have MSL, and which is part of the Publicis Group. MSL will be our major sponsor this year. MSL is a major PR agency, which is part of Publicis Group, which is the third international network of communication agencies in the world. And they have agencies in the PR, in the advertising field, in social media, event management, and they will sponsor us. They were very excited about doing that. And then again, it's Labcom and Netnographica, our two, let's say, consultancy companies and research companies that carry out cultural research on understanding consumer words in the online and offline words, and that of course also are related to Rob, Uli, and me. And so we always try to support our conference, of course. And then we also have as a partner the SIM, which is the Italian Marketing Society, which is the academic institution of our marketing scholars in Italy. And it gathers around 350, I would say almost 400 scholars in the marketing field. And they decided that this conference was really like one of the most important conferences they would like to sponsor. And so they were very enthusiastic about being partner, also trying to leverage on the importance of ethnography, also to try to increase the value of qualitative research in marketing, which would be a nice thing to do always.
Fantastic. That's incredible. What a range of support already. And it's great to see just how much there is in place so far ahead of it. Now, Sylvia, I think you're going to talk to a little bit of the deadlines, and Angela too.
Yes, so I will present you very briefly our important dates. So in terms of conference registration, early bird conference registrations are already open, and they will be open until April 15. This means that after this date, those who are actually interested in partaking in Netnocon24 will have to pay the regular conference registration. In terms of important dates for the submission of your papers or abstract, so the Oxford abstract, which is actually the platform we are using for your submission, is already available. It's already open, and you can submit your papers or abstracts until January 12, which is actually the last available deadline. Then on February 9, actually reviews will be sent to authors that have until March the 1st to revise and then resubmit their abstract or papers still with Oxford abstract. Then on March 8th, notification will be sent to authors, notification of hopefully acceptance, so that these authors will have until April 15 to send through Oxford abstract still their final version of paper or abstract. Just one important note: if your paper or abstract, so if your work has been accepted by April the 1st, at least one of the authors who have contributed to an accepted work has to be registered for the conference. This is very important. One last topic on important dates relates to accommodations, because on our website, netnocon.org, there is the list of recommended hotels in Milan. So these hotels are offering you rooms for a discounted price. However, this discounted price is available just until March 28th. This means that after this date, rooms will be available, will be reservable, but at full price. So our suggestion is to reserve your room as soon as possible, also because, as Ross actually said, Milan, it's a very busy city, and it is a busy city, especially in spring, because there are a lot of exhibitions and a lot of international events. One last final note, when you are actually ready to reserve your room in one of these recommended hotels, please send an email to our travel agency, which is Duomo Viaggi. It is a travel agency which actually collaborates with us, saying that you actually are going to, that you want actually to reserve a room in a specific structure from those recommended. You can find their email address on our website.
Fantastic. That's a lot of information. And just to remind everyone, it's all in the website. So please do take the link in the chat and head over to the site just to remind people that the application for scholarships deadline is the 15th of January. So if you are thinking about coming along and would like that support, then please do keep that in mind. Now, Alexei, a lot happened this year in Salford for the first Netnocon conference. Tell us a little bit about some of the stories that you heard from participants this year.
Indeed, thank you, Andy. Obviously, this year was quite a fun time to actually come back to campus, to a place where I've studied for a number of years and worked, obviously, as an academic, and it brings a lot of memories for me, in particular, coming to the Media Cities site, the amazing place where there is obviously a great mix of the innovation and technology happening around Salford. But what was amazing for me is actually meeting people that I have not seen for a long time, and actually kind of sitting next to a person that we have worked on a project together. But it was an amazing opportunity to exchange and actually learn from one another about some of the work that we're working on. So what I really liked about Netnocon is this developmental nature. So you have a chance to learn from one another, and actually this supportive network of people with a lot of fresh ideas, with a lot of PhD students, experienced scholars helping and providing and developing some of these ideas as well. So there's some really exciting things that I was able to take away as part of developing, so obviously, the connections that have been obviously kept with COVID, perhaps digitally, and this was then being able to reconnect and hopefully pick up on some of the new research ideas and new research projects. And this is one of the reasons I'm here today, obviously, to share with you the exciting opportunity that Netnocon24 brings for you to actually expand your networks and build some research networks and your knowledge to going forward.
Fantastic. And I think it's a great testament to the fact that people are joining tonight and wanting to come back again, which I think you'll get quite a few return visitors to this conference. It really feels like the beginning of a new community, which is really exciting. Now, Rob, I think you want to tell us a little bit about some of the plans for this year, how the day is going to work, and Uli too, but anyone else I think also is contributing as well.
Yes, I'm happy to. I don't want to give too much away because I think there are some secrets in store, but I did want to say that what we're going to be doing is, really trying to extend and continue some of the things that we did last year. And let me overview a little bit about what that was in terms of, I think, the atmospherics of a conference. So I've been to a lot of conferences over the years, and I kind of felt when we were thinking about this one to do things a little bit differently from some conferences in the past. And one of the things I think that we did that was important was to set this thing up so that it was both a playful place and a welcoming place, particularly for new scholars, but for all scholars. So the conference theme this year is about looking toward the future, and I think that's kind of something that we can all sort of play with, particularly if we're working with new technologies, but it's also about working with new scholars and new forms of scholarship. So it's really about working with method, working with new tools, working with new ideas, and doing that in a very sort of supportive and collective structure. So we wanted to have the conference small enough, but have a little bit of a critical mass, and it turned out to be a global crowd, a group of people who are young and I think young at heart and young thinking, and it was a powerful combination. So the feedback was very, very friendly, I think, and very helpful, and we really have tried to continue that, and we're going to try to continue that and keep Netnocon as a small, friendly, welcoming place where people can intellectually grow and play. And I think one of the things that I was really happy to hear was that it was the first conference for a number of young scholars and scholars of all ages, actually. And I think people found it to really an easy way to ease into academic life, and something that hopefully will set them off in a positive direction in their careers.
Fantastic. And I think that that's such a great way of just bookending really, I suppose, the range of things that are critical about the conference. That supportive environment. Often conferences can be really challenging, especially for early career researchers. So making sure that everyone feels welcome to bring their point of view and find support for what is often for many people very experimental methodologies, which I think is a great facet of the entire event. So we have now, I think, a number of minutes for Q&A to talk through a few further details in case people in the stream have any questions. So please do keep them coming in. Everyone's going to join at this point to feed in if they would like. There's one question that's come in already from Magda to ask whether last year recipients can apply for the scholarship, whether there's any sort of limitation on that, or are you keeping it quite open? Maybe Uli, to you for this one.
Yeah, so I know the website says that you shouldn't have applied for or received, actually, a Netnocon24 scholarship. I think we can be a little more flexible in that people can apply, but they need to know that they will be ranked lower by the committee because they have already received support. So don't get completely discouraged. Contact us if there's a real need for you to come, and I'm also going to foreshadow that we are also looking for a social media volunteer for the Association of Netnographic Research, and that person will be able to attend the conference for free. So there will be another opportunity for someone, so maybe someone who already got a scholarship last year might still consider applying for that opportunity. So please contact us. We'll still consider you. We might still find additional funding in the process. So we put that on the website just to kind of set the expectations, but we will try our best to accommodate as many students as possible again. So I would say please apply. And but be aware that you might not be selected because other students have priority.
Yeah, I've got a question, maybe this is for Ross, but I wonder if people are sort of thinking about planning their travel. Is the conference program expected to start on the morning of the 29th, or when should people arrive really and expect to depart?
Yeah, the conference will start on the 29th in the morning, and the first day is supposed to be a doctoral day. So this week we have so many surprises that this one we can actually disclose. So it's a doctoral day. So PhD students really need to be all in by the 29th because it's their day. So they will present their ideas. We want to teach a little bit also to organize some little pills of ethnography throughout the day, and then to organize some tables for peer discussion between PhD students that we want to organize around the university. So it's really, of course, required that they're here like on the 28th in the evening, and then there will be also a final aperitivo, which is very important because in Milan, how can we not close with an aperitivo on the 31st? And we will be in our Aula Magna, which is our major, I mean, we only miss the Pope at that point, basically. Now I will get fired because this is recorded. But yeah, so you need to stay throughout all the days because there are a lot of things happening.
Yeah. So to be
take a week if you can.
To be clear, there's programming every day for everybody, not just doctoral students.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Every day.
We've got a question in from Anna Mozzo, who's asked whether abstracts from an educational field would be accepted. Maybe Rob, you want to take that one?
Sure. Well, there are a number of education scholars who are working with netnography. I think it's a huge growth area. It's a really important one. So I think that we are most welcome to submissions from the field of education, as well as many other fields that I realize I didn't mention at the beginning. Geography and human geography in particular, there were a couple of very interesting submissions and a lot of interesting work going on there. The presentations are 20 minutes, and there were, I think did we have 4 per session or three or four per session. I think we had 4 last year. Yeah. So there are 20-minute slots, and they're presented together, 4 at a time, which we try and group together thematically. We haven't had special sessions yet. That might be coming in a future year.
But also we want to have a lot of discussion at Netnocon, so we always plan in a lot of time for that. So it's not just you presenting your paper and then you go off. So I think what's special about this conference is that you will actually get feedback. And I thought, from my perspective, that was the exciting thing, to get feedback from people from so many different disciplines, and they might, be aware of literatures and data that you might not have thought of. So I thought that was one of the most exciting things.
Yeah, I think the thing to emphasize here from Anna's question is that this is kind of a unique conference for a lot of us, because it is a methodological focused conference. And because it's focused on methodology, that means it's field agnostic by nature, right? So this can be applied to digital humanities, medicine, as I've mentioned, accounting. So when we had our dinner, we had these table discussions, which were really different from the field-centered kind of table discussions that have been at other conferences that I've been at. And as Uli is saying here, one of the goals is for us to be working on building this method together. I've been saying for a while now that netnography is crowdsourced. The last 2 books, I basically referenced a lot of other people's work and tried to sort of, build that into this growing field. And I think the conference is the natural extension of that now, where it's taken on a life of its own, and that, people are developing this together. And I think that's really one of the big aims of the conference, is for us to work on the method and the topics that are interesting from different fields together, and build something that I think is quite unique in academia right now.
That's very exciting. And then maybe just Alexi, if I could come back to you as well, just to talk about the legacy of 2023. I mean, people, I guess, authoring lots of different things. What do you think has been the impact of this event, the first event?
Well, for me, it was a great addition to one of the books that we have just been editing recently. So I've prioritized. Obviously, digital marketing has seen a number of issues over the last year. So the impact of AI and the way that we need to engage with the social media communities. And ethnography is providing us some really great insights to things that you can't really see with the statistics data, with Google Analytics, with your insights from Google Trends and all the other tools that are really giving you headline figures. So going in depth has really provided us some really exciting opportunities. And obviously the analogy of a helicopter, which obviously Rob introduced in one of his journal papers, we have tried and repackaged, and we hope to share it with our students for many years to come. So that's certainly been an amazing legacy, and I'm really supportive of this field of work, and I'm looking forward to connecting with some other people. So we've just exchanged with Ross over the last couple of weeks, and so there is another exciting idea that I hope to develop for the next conference. So there are many new ideas, and just speaking to people from different disciplines has given us some new opportunities for collaborations, which is a very nice and supportive and fruitful environment for the ideas development, and actually knowing people who have done it and who are capable to provide some constructive feedback. That has been really, really powerful for me. So I highly recommend attending it, and obviously Milan being an amazing place in its own right, and meeting some great people. It's very, can't wait to see May next year.
Fantastic. We've got a question coming from Magda as well, which I think is a really useful one, because often when we have a call for papers, the deadline approaches really rapidly, and then people try to get it done within time. But we don't often think about what's a good way to write an abstract for a conference and submission. So Magda's asked if she's got any tips for writing the abstract, anything thoughtful from the last submission as to which ones did well, which ones are particularly useful for this event. Any thoughts, Rob?
Yeah, I can start out on that one. Maybe other people will want to chime in. But having looked at all of them from last year, I can say, do not waste any time with a bunch of references. You only have 500 words. Please do not, dedicate 300 of them to references. It's really about being succinct, and being focused. In terms of the methodological focus of the conference, clearly what we're trying to get at, in the bigger picture, is netnographies or online ethnographies or whatever you want to call them, virtual ethnographies, digital ethnographies, all are welcome. That have some element that talks about what you did and why you did it. Every context is different. Every field is different. Every scholar is different. Every scholarship team is different. How did those differences impact what you actually did and how you approached your research? And really, that's the level of this, is being a little bit conscious about why we did things the way we did them. So if we think about netnography as this sort of a basic structure of 4 research stages that take us from a research question to collecting data, to analyzing that data, to a final presentation, and then these 6 movements that really focus uniquely on the data collection of movements of immersion and investigation and interaction. Well, which of those changed? How did that work? So rather than just sort of rote following it, what did you do and why did you do it? What little adjustments did you make? So overall, I mean, I think people are presenting a topic that they investigated and interesting things that they found out, and that was that was a big part of the conference. But the part where we sort of, I think, have a collective overlap and where we sort of poke around the edges is how did method change, and how did you change what the outcome was of your research findings and its interpretation. So I would just say, as a guideline, in 500 words, there's not a lot that you can say. Be very focused in that abstract on the topic, of course, but also a bit on what you did and why you did it. I think that really will help us. And I think in the presentations that really came out more than in the abstracts themselves that we saw. I think this time, to kind of set the frame, if you're watching this, try and think a little bit more about that. Obviously, we're writing up, presentations that are similar to articles in that they're topic focused and they talk about, research questions and findings and so on. But there is that little methodological element to that makes this a little bit different, that you might think about bringing out earlier on and then developing more for your presentation.
That's really helpful. Alexi, I think you want just to add a few more comments too.
Yes, I think just the basic idea, what I've picked up from the presentations attending last year's at Netnocon, what was great is to see the problem that the individual was focusing on, and then obviously the use of netnography as a method to see how they were able to come up with the results or anticipated results, because I saw some were still in the development stage. So that was the fun place for me, where I could actually see this is a problem that I would never see, because there were a lot of people looking at health science or the work on the particular domain. But what they were doing is that they were looking at social media communities, which was sort of parallel to brands, communities, and everything else. So whilst we might be looking at a different application of that, the same lens, we are able to learn from one another how that lens is being applied to actually come up with the results and insights. So we had a number of ethical concerns. So, for example, how we will anonymize data, how we can protect the privacy of the individuals and not lose the richness of this. So there were some really exciting things that I've learned about paraphrasing, so renaming authors and using the content in ways that would be quite useful for us to still tell the story that the research is sending. But this is where the exciting ways of using the problem that you're trying to say, but then use the methods and the results was quite a useful structure for your abstract, which I guess is something that will benefit us all when we are sharing it during the conference as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And we've also got another question coming about. Oh,
can I add one thing about?
Yeah, please do.
About the abstract, because there was someone that was asking, maybe Magda, about tips about how to write an abstract. You can also have the choice to submit a paper. So we introduced this option this year. Especially for younger scholars, for PhD students that sometimes get funded if they submit a full paper. So if you want to also submit up to 10 page paper, you can do that. And that means that you don't have the problem of squeezing everything in 500 words. That, of course, doesn't mean that is easier to write a paper. But if you want, of course, we are open to receive also full papers. And so just a reminder.
Thanks. That's really helpful. We got a related question really from Anna as to whether we can add visuals and infographics into the abstract. Any particular view on that, or is it quite open?
I mean, we encourage visuals and infographics. I think, if you're working with social media data, there's a lot of the visual element to that is up front. You don't have to. That's an optional thing. So you have an optional box when you upload your abstract where you can upload one infographic, which, if you're like Ross, you can fit 20 different images into one infographic. There's a lot you can fit into one. If I could just go back for a second to Ross's comment on the full papers, we had two special issues, one of the Qualitative Research Journal and one of the Journal of Service Theory and Practice that were tied into the conference last year. This year, we are working on another special issue, which is going to be tied into the conference. And we're going to have an announcement hopefully soon about that. But I wanted to say that if you are writing a full paper, it's going to be easier for you to build that into a submission to one of these journals. And we're really careful to try and get a high-ranked journals so that these will count. And we are going to be a subset of the co-chair and co-chairs of the conference are going to be the editors of these journals, and we're going to be working with you. So we're working with a number of scholars now from last year's conference, working our way through the publication stream. But let me just point out that it's a little more work to take a 500-word abstract and turn that into a full paper for submission than it is to take a 10-page paper and build that into a submission. So you've got a bit more of a head start there. So think about that maybe when you're thinking about your submission. I know time is getting a little bit shorter. We've got less than a month now till the papers are due. But if you have a chance to work on it over the holidays and build your 500-word abstract into a 10-page paper, you might be doing yourself a favor if that leads to a publication later on.
That's incredibly helpful. So I think we're sort of getting towards the end of our session today. We've covered a lot of ground. We've covered arrival dates, crucial things, where to stay. We've got the abstracts, the scholarships, the social program. Is there anything we're missing?
The atmospherics, Andy. I mean, it's all about the atmospherics.
Well, maybe that's a really good place to end. We've got a nice little promotional film just to give you a bit of a flavor of the destination for when you come to Milan. So thank you all for joining today. And of course, you can reach out to people through the website and find all the information we've been discussing today. But I hope to see you all on May the 29th in Milan for Netnocon 2024. So great to see you all. Have a great holiday season, and we'll see you in the new year.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Look forward to seeing you. Ciao.